From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Badly.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. Very interesting show tonight. We have talked about this issue, and if you read the paper or even watch the news, you may think this issue had died in the legislature. But it's a controversial one that has gotten a lot of attention, and it is not dead. Today, in the Senate, it passed. What I'm talking about is the transgender bathroom bill. This, we thought, had died in a House committee. That is not the case. It is now alive, and today it passed in a Senate committee. So we have had in the past someone who was opposed to the bill on. Tonight we have the sponsor in the House, Representative Susan Lynn. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Republican from Mount Juliet. You are the sponsor of this bill.
I am.
Tennessean said, House kills controversial bathroom bill a couple of days ago. It died. It was killed in a committee, is at least what was reported. How is it not, if it failed in that vote, how is this bill still viable?
It actually wasn't a vote on the bill. It was a vote to send the bill to a summer study. Afterwards, the members had regrets about that, and they realized that the Senate was very motivated to vote for the bill and not send it to a summer study. And so the chairman called me up and he said, if you are still wanting to put this bill back on notice, I will open up my committee and we will hear the bill rather than sending it to a summer study committee.
Summer study, that's kind of a term used to mean it's not going anywhere. There's not a great deal of study generally done.
Right.
What made them regret their vote?
I really think that so many of the other members were really upset that the bill wouldn't receive a vote. They realized that the Senate was very motivated to vote for the measure. And today, I know a school district received word that the ACLU is going to sue them over their policy, which is much like the bill. But the ACLU is planning to sue them over their policy regarding restrooms in the school. So all of these motivating factors really had made the committee all go to the chairman, and they all had second thoughts.
And that's highly unusual when there's a vote for them to say, you know what, we want to reconsider. And as we talk during the course of the hour, maybe we can drill down into that. But let's take a step back. And what does the bill do? This is been called the Transgender Bathroom Bill.
Right.
In your words as the sponsor, what does it do?
Okay, I call it the restroom bill.
Transgender restroom
bill. Well, no, I don't call it the transgender. It is a bill to say that boys use the boys' room, girls use the girls' room. Now, we know in this day and age, some young people are declaring that they are transgender, that they don't feel like their sex, whatever that is. So the bill provides that the school can make an accommodation for those students. However, federal law under Title IX, it's very clear. Students have a right to privacy in the restroom. So boys use the boys' room, girls use the girls' room. There can be a third accommodation made. And it was very interesting because in committee, a number of these students came to testify who portray themselves as the opposite sex.
They came to testify against this bill.
Against the bill, they did.
Right.
And all of them said that even before their school came up with this accommodation, they felt bullied. They felt bullied using the boys' room. They felt bullied using the girls' room. It didn't matter. They feel very bullied. And this bill is designed to protect the rights of everybody. Nobody should be bullied just for going to the restroom. Nobody should be bullied. So, like I said, boys go to the boys' room, girls go to the girls' room. There will be an accommodation made, a safe accommodation for these students where they can feel comfortable just using the restroom. And that's all they want to do is use the restroom.
Now,
and it protects the privacy of everybody.
Critics have questioned why we need this? I mean, the Department of Education said
Right.
today it's received no complaints about the current system. No complaints. Representative Rick Womack, a Republican, said when they voted it down in the House committee, this is an example of government getting involved in something it shouldn't tackle. So why do we need this?
If they say they've received no complaints. However, there's a lawsuit being filed by the ACLU against the school system in Sumner County. So while they say they've received no complaints, I don't know. Why is there a lawsuit being filed by the ACLU? This bill hasn't passed. The lawsuit is filed over what is currently being done, and I don't know that what's currently being done exactly matches this legislation, but I do know that the school system tries to make an accommodation for this young person who, portrays himself as a different gender.
What's currently being done, and my understanding is being done on a community by community sort of basis. So those who are closest to whatever problem may be are able to somehow solve it. What this would do is mandate, so the state would take, this is the way it must be done, and you take that decision-making ability away from those who are closest to it. And people say that is not good sense. And certainly the Republicans have argued, let's not do mandates and take responsibility away from local authority. How is this? It's a one-size-fits-all thing. If there are no complaints, why not let local schools or governments or deal with this?
This is a very sensitive issue, and it's about protecting the constitutional rights of every student, of all the students. How on earth do you protect the constitutional rights of all students? That's a very hard thing to do. And when it happens, policy is made district by district by district. Not all districts might be successful at protecting the constitutional rights of all of the students. And then what happens is they get sued. They either get sued by the ACLU or they get sued by the parent of a child who's very disturbed because there's a member of the opposite sex in their child's restroom. And it's very daunting for their child. It's frightening for their child. So the school system gets sued either way. Those school officials get dragged into deposition. How did you come up with this policy? Do you have biases? Don't you attend some church or some organization that has biases? That's what happens to these local officials. If we develop a policy at the state level that's not biased, it's truly protecting the constitutional rights and thinking of all of the students. Remember, if you're a boy who portrays yourself as a boy, or you're a girl who portrays yourself as a girl, you still have constitutional rights. If you are a young person and you want to portray yourself as a member of the opposite sex, you still have a constitutional right to privacy. And not only that, you have a right not to be bullied. You have a right not to be bullied. And that's really what we're trying to do with this legislation. And I know the other side has portrayed it as something different. And it's really not anything other than that, trying to protect the rights of everybody.
How would you enforce this? That's the other big question. Who would be responsible for determining if someone is using the restroom inappropriately?
Right.
How do you enforce this?
Right. Well, it would likely happen on complaint. Somebody would complain, maybe a young lady, she goes in the restroom and there's a boy in there. It would happen on complaint. Basically, the students would be told, look, you just use the restroom of your sex on your birth certificate. If you are a student who identifies as another sex, we have a restroom for you where you're guaranteed not to be bullied. You're going to be safe there. Of course,
so you're saying there's a third restroom? Is that what you're saying? There's a third restroom.
Right.
So you would have a men's, a women's, and then a transgender? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
is that what the bill does?
Did you ever go to Target? And I'm sorry to use a potential advertiser, but there's sort of the family restroom, and everybody can go in there, men, women, all of that. Either one could use that restroom. It would be a private restroom that they can use. Also, what the legislation allows, the chairman of the committee, Representative Brooks, thought of this. You know, at our colleges, and sorry about my phone, at our colleges and universities, you know, the students are older, but they still deserve a right to privacy. And in Europe, they have restrooms where anybody can use that restroom. It's sort of male, female, multi-stall, and anybody can go in there. The thing is, before you enter, you've got fair warning. There's notice. This is a multi-sex restroom. There's still a ladies' room and there's still a men's room. So if you want to go in the multi-sex restroom, you can. If you want to use the ladies' room, you want to use the men's room, you can. So it would allow development of other options so long as the privacy of each student is protected.
Your phone's definitely going off. So why don't we take a break? And yes, again, it looked like this bill had been killed in a committee, or at least deferred for one session. That is not the case. It was resurrected because the committee has said they regretted their vote. Is that right? And so it's resurrected, and then it passed today in the Senate. So we'll continue talking about this. If you want to call, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.